Hey guys, Joshua Peterson Electric here. Try to do a video for you here about once a month. It is November 2018. This is a house that we're roughing in Boulder. Go ahead and give a view. This is when you guys call and ask us, what do you mean by gutting a house? This general contractor actually gutted this house here. So this is showing you what it means. This house was a 1960 two-wire, no grounds, cloth, which we all call some of those fish scale, or we call it cloth wire, we call it silver. It's got that flaky feel to it. Anyways, it was all gutted out already. We've already started running all of our cans and switch legs and lights. And right here is our panel. We put all our home runs in here. And this is basically a panel that we've already trimmed out. Why do I trim them out during rough-in? Because I like to test my circuits. This house has no power. It will have no power. In fact, if you look right out here, you can see my SCR cable hanging there, and my 10-3 and my 6-3, which is going to be for an AC and a spa disconnect. Right out there where that fence is a big garage that's supposed to go in. It's not in yet, so I can't trench between there to here. And I'll do a next video on you so you understand that service side. But we will have a main disconnect right outside of here. That is a main feed through 200 amp lugs. And then we feed a 125 amp breaker into this guy with the main lug. And then this sub panel feeds down to a basement at 60 amps. Anyways, sorry if you can't hear this video. I did find out my microphone's going out and I need to get a new iPhone. It's 3 years old and that X is about $1,000, so I'm trying to think about doing that, but I spent some money already on some other tools this year. So anyways, I'll get that replaced here. Hopefully you can hear me, but this is how I label my stuff. I label my circuits. I don't typically label my neutrals because I twist them together. I do put my circuit number at the top here, but first I put them in the top up here as I knock out the KO plug, and then I cut it in and I label it again. So it's labeled here, here, and then also here. Is it a little extreme? No, because I tend to actually put in a 14-4, or what we call 14-2-2, and that'll have, or a 12-2-2, that'll have basically a black white and a red white, and I keep them next to each other. You do not need a multi-tie handle breaker for that because it is not sharing a neutral, for instance, like your dryer is. But you do have to have them side by side if you trim out. I tend to do it that way so I know that I had every circuit in the house planned out. This is actually a 42 circuit panel. It is full. The bottom of the 1/3 does give me another 8 breaker spaces if I do the thins, but I only have a couple that I can thin twin right here, which is one here. I could put a quad in there. Actually, I can't get a 60 too easy there. I could do a 50-20. But up here, if I had a couple singles out here, which you can see there's not that many, maybe I should have planned these 30-40s to be at the bottom so I could have made more space. I doubt I'm needing more space because this panel has a ton of room. Out here, I'm putting in a 10-20 circuit panel, and that has plenty of space after I use up only 2-4-6 breakers, so I'll have 10 more spaces out there. And then in the basement, I'll have another 12-24 circuit panel. So as you can see, that's how we label. But keep in mind, guys, we're having to start to torque this. It is 11/5/18, and I got called out by an inspector 3 weeks ago in Arvada. He wanted to know if I did my inch-pound torquing. So my 15, 20 amp, and 30 amp are all going to be 25 inch-pounds, and my 40, 50, and 60 are going to be my 45 amp or 45 inch-pound torque spec, and my 1-inch lugs are typically going to be anywhere from 80 to 100 max. But I labeled that, and I did it in a paint Sharpie because they're starting to get us on that. They're also going to want to see if your tool is actually being calibrated. Now I want to show you that real quick, and I'll be done. Actually, we put it on the truck. But keep in mind to check that torque screwdriver. I've had 2 of them now, and every year, right on the nose, it dies, and I have to buy a new one. So I'm going to look at another brand. I've been getting mine on Amazon, and it's a yellow-black one. Do you remember the name of that? It's a Wheeler, so I'm not sure if I really like Wheeler after what I've dealt with twice now with it. So I'll get another one and let you know. But make sure that thing's working, the battery's in, and then the inspector calls out to look at that. He'll look at that. Now that's not going to be looked at till trim, not at rough. But I'll leave it open for the inspector to see, just to ponder that I've already listed and labeled everything. All right, guys, thanks for joining us.